I'm just the dependent, by user a quiet borderline. It's time to go back to the land of IDontWorkHereLady. My friend, Belle, is now retired, but for many years, she was an army officer. Her husband, Adam, was a civilian police officer. Given the nature of their jobs, at least until Adam was forced to retire due to an injury he sustained in the line of duty, they were both very busy, especially early in their careers. So the times they had days off together were a special event. It was rough sometimes, but they made it work, and to this day, they're still two crazy teenagers in love. There's an important thing to note about Adam. He was raised to be respectful and courteous to women, chivalry you might call it. It's one of their rare days off together and they decide to run some errands and get dinner together. A new store in town opened the week before and they decided to check it out. They get there and Adam is, as always, being the perfect gentleman. He's holding the door open for Belle, pushing the cart, helping shorter people reach items on the top shelf, that sort of thing. This gets noticed by others. Women playfully tease their husbands with, "Why don't you do that for me, honey?" and this encourages the men to start playing the chivalry game. Meanwhile, Belle is loving the attention and showing mild PDA, gentle pecks, smoothing out his collar, grinning at him, etc. According to her, it's like falling in love with him all over again. They check out and there's a sign at the register saying that there's a military discount. Adam gets Belle's wallet out of her purse, it was resting in the cart's child seat, and shows her military ID so they can get the discount. Once they leave, Adam tells Belle he'll load the trunk and put the cart back and to just relax in the passenger seat. While he's loading the trunk, an older gentleman comes up, dressed nicely. Adam notices, stops what he's doing and asks, "Can I help you, sir?" He asked, politely. "My wife and I have noticed your behavior to your wife in the store and I wanted to commend you. It's nice to see such attention and care to a lady." "Thank you," Adam said. "She's my classy lady so I treat her as such." "As you should. What's your name and rank, soldier?" Adam suddenly realized what was going on. "Oh. My wife is the officer. I'm just the dependent." The gentleman blushed. "I'm sorry. I heard you say that you had a military ID to present at the checkout." It's at this point Belle, having been alerted by the conversation, steps out. She recognizes the gentleman. "You're the new colonel, right?" she asked. "Yes, ma'am," the man said. "I understand you're an officer as well." Belle introduced everyone. The good colonel then said to Belle, "You've trained your husband well. It's nice to see a dependent who doesn't wear their spouse's rank." Adam smiled and joked, "She told me she'd use me for target practice and bury me in an unmarked grave on base if I ever thought of pulling a stunt like that. And yes, she's a better shot than I am." The colonel laughed and they talked for a couple of minutes before parting ways. Belle still teases Adam about it, saying, "Are you sure you're not an officer?" "I'm not the wine guy here," by user Malbec_man. Context: I'm a wine steward/historian by trade, and I run an international bottle shop/tasting room. I am also hard of hearing, and I wear an over-the-ear hearing aid in my right ear that looks similar to sport Bluetooth earbuds. We recently made a commercial for the shop, which I am in. It's a pretty good commercial which plays on 8 cable channels in my area, and I occasionally get recognized by random people as a result. This will be important. About a month ago I was in Albertsons, it's a chain grocery store/pharmacy, getting cat food and ingredients for dinner. As a general rule I like to check their wine section out to make sure I don't carry anything that they do. As I was bent down looking at the lower shelves, I felt a hand on my shoulder. I assumed that this was someone alerting me to their presence, and their intent to move in close. Personally I have no problem with that. Parts of my shop are fairly close quarters, so it happens at work all the time. No big deal. Then I felt the hand again, but this time it was more deliberate. I take this as a sign that this person is just tactless and I shuffle left a bit. Then I felt a rather aggressive tap on my hearing aid, which popped a bit and scared the shit out of me, so I jumped up and turned to face my antagonist. Who was this rude and annoying person? A short, bleach blonde, 30-something woman wearing an outfit that definitely cost more than I pay in rent. If her name isn't Tiffany then it absolutely should be, and that is how I will refer to her going forward. And her fucking voice. You know that SNL sketch where Pedro Pascal comes out of a coma and speaks like a valley girl on muscle relaxers? Imagine that, but without the eloquence and sophistication. Tiffany, excuse me. Me, yes. Tiffany, where can I find Josh Rose? It's $10 a bottle of absolute crap. Me, I'm not sure. I don't work here. Tiffany, but I saw you on TV. You're the wine guy. Me, yeah, that's me, but I actually don't know much about the layout of this store. It's a lot different than mine. Sorry. Tiffany, you should at least know where the Rose is. We were standing about 15 feet from the Rose section, so I pointed to it. Given our height difference, I'm guessing that she just couldn't see it over the rack we were facing. She sneered at me. Tiffany, was that so hard? If eye rolls were audible, mine could have been heard in Australia. I shrugged. Tiffany, they'd better have Josh Rose. And she was off. I decided to get while the get-in was good, as we say around here, so I continued my shopping. I gathered what I needed for spaghetti, which took about 15 minutes. As I'm walking towards the front of the store to check out, I hear a familiar voice. Tiffany, they don't have Josh Rose. You said they'd have Josh Rose. Me, I pointed you towards the Rose section. I never said they have anything. Perhaps you might find my friend Ray, the wine steward here, and make arrangements for him to bring it in. This is totally a thing that he can do. Tiffany, I'll do that. Where is he? Me, I have no idea. Again, I don't work here. Tiffany, wow, you're useless. Some wine steward you are. Me, I don't actually sell any of this, so I can't tell you much beyond the label and a general description of the geography and climate of the area it's produced in. Tiffany, who actually cares about that shit? Me, you'd be surprised. You should come in and check out the shop sometime. I'll show and tell you anything you want. Tiffany, oh, like I'm ever going to your shop. I'll go to wine shop 40 minutes away, and get it there. Now I could have done a lot in this situation. I could have told her that they don't carry it either. I also could have told her that they carry it at Safeway, about half a mile up the road. I didn't do either of those things. I wished her a happy holidays and walked to the register, and that was that. Until the next morning. Apparently Tiffany had called the shop and left a voicemail describing my terrible service and poor attitude. Naturally my boss asked me about it, so I regaled her with the story. We had a good laugh about it, and once again that was that. Until 2 days later. I get a text from Ray asking why a crazy lady said the wine guy told me to find you. Apparently Tiffany had come back in and accosted him, claiming that I told her to. I once again recounted the tale, and we also had a good laugh about it, then moved on. Once again, that was that. Until the very next day. My boss comes to my desk and says I think that crazy lady gave us a bad Yelp review. Cue another audible eye roll. The review was scathing, and entirely about my conduct at Albertsons. That would have been a good laugh, except that even as unhinged as it was, it still hurt our overall rating. Our office manager was able to contact Yelp and explain the situation, and the review was removed. Tiffany stayed true to her word, though. I've never seen her again, although her name has turned into a running joke whenever we have a customer with her disposition. And that, dear reader, is that. Walmart yen looking for cookie tins, by user Kawakiki12. This happened 2 days ago and still kinda makes me giggle. I, 34F, was doing some last-minute shopping at Walmart and, because I enjoy dressing up for holidays, I was wearing a Santa cape over top of a Santa jumpsuit. I was just about finished my shopping and had a large cart full when I realized I still needed cookie tins since I'm still not done my holiday baking. It took me a good 25 minutes to find them after multiple laps around the holiday section, but I finally found them. As I'm heading toward checkout with my haul, I hear an older gentleman from the front entrance holler in my direction. Og, oh my god. Santa. Hey question, where can I find cookie tins? You know, the empty ones? Ones you can put, you know, cookies in? You know? Not exaggerated. Me, light exasperated sigh. Og, wait. You don't work here. Shit, I'm sorry. Me, no. But I do know where the cookie tins are. Literally I just grabbed my own. Indicates to an end cap, they are 2 displays down on the right. Og, that's awesome. You look amazing by the way. Happy holidays Santa. Me, good luck, sir. He grabs his cookie tins and a few smaller items before checking out, and we met again in the parking lot. He found his cookie tins, but couldn't find his car. This the season I guess. On lunch break, by user glittering_guest3887. At the time I was a third-year apprentice chef going for a job interview and they told me to arrive in my chef uniform as the interview is also an audition that you have to make a dish that they ask for. So I did everything and was told we will call you. Still in my chef uniform and I was hungry and thought why the hell not, I will place an order. While I was waiting I did notice a table of ladies watching me but did not say anything at all. My food arrived and I was scoffing it down as I have to go back to my job soon as I was not on a split shift, I was on a straight and was given an hour's break. Then I noticed someone was standing next to me with a plate of food in their hands looking at me. I said hi and continued to keep eating. They got my attention again and started to look upset with me, which I have no idea why. I ordered a well done steak. Does this look well done to you? They asked. I looked at the plate and wanted to laugh but did not. No, it looks medium well, and your point? I asked, not caring as I wanted to finish so I can get back to work. She slammed the plate in front of me. Food went flying. Lucky for her nothing landed on my plate. Instead of enjoying your food maybe you should cook the way your paying costumers had asked for. She snapped. I looked at her in shock. What you think I work here, love? Sorry, I do not, I'm just having lunch then I'm gone, maybe go ask that person for help. I told her. She looked pissed. No, you're a chef, you got the clothes on, go back into that kitchen and cook my food the way I had asked and paid for. I rolled my eyes now, as I had enough of her yelling at me. Listen here lady, I was here for a job interview and they told me to wear my uniform, which I am. I did not cook that steak for you. As you know I do not work here, please go talk to the front of house, they can actually help you as I do not work here. I snapped because if you looked at my chef jacket it had bright pink word of sugar, which was the name of the cafe I worked at, with pink buttons and pink and white checkered chef pants. This place is straight up black jackets with white or black buttons and grey small checkered chef pants, the head chef worn all white. So I was shocked that she went to continue on yelling at me, and that was when I noticed the head chef walking over towards us asking what was going on, and she turned on him. Your young staff member here is refusing to recoup my steak. The head chef smiled at me then at her, maybe because she doesn't work here? But please bring your plate with me and tell me what is wrong with it. She looked at him in shock. She doesn't work here? She asked. I smiled at her, like I said I don't work here right now. I snapped, finished off the last bite and walked off, leaving her stunned. I ended up working at that place and turns out she is always complaining about her food but she keeps coming. Karen wants me to do her shopping for her, by user Brainiac_1200. For context, I started working at this a grocery store chain when I was 16 and transferred to another location at 21. This takes place Halloween of 2022. I had to work during the day shift and my store allows us to dress up, so I wore my John Constantine costume, which I washed once I got home before meeting up with friends to hang out and have fun. We end up deciding to get some snacks and drinks and stop by the location of our store that was closest to the house we were hanging out at, which happened to be the one I transferred from the year before. While my friends and I were talking about what we wanted, a regular recognized me and asked if I knew where something was, so I told my friends I'll meet back up with them after I help the customer. I then proceed to show her where the item was and asked if she needed anything else, and she said no and asked me if I still worked there since she hadn't seen me in a while, and so I told her I had transferred the year before. This is where the Karen comes in. She sees me telling the previous lady to have a good day and doesn't say anything as I walk by to meet up with my friends. Next thing I know, while we're at the register checking out our order, I hear a feminine voice say, "Excuse me, I've been following you around the entire store and you didn't even look at me." I apologized and asked if there was something I could help her with, and she then said that she wants me to find everything on her list and grab it for her. This is where I realized what was going on and explained I don't work at that location, and even if I did, that is not what the job entails. Her response was, "If you don't work here, then why did you help that other lady?" I replied by telling her that I had worked at this location for a little over 5 years and transferred the year before, so I still knew the store pretty well. And this is when she starts screaming at me to get a manager because she is going to get me fired and my friends are telling me to ignore her and let's go. I instead decide to piss her off and get the store manager, who knew me since I worked there in the past, and the look on Karen's face when he said I didn't work there anymore, and even if I did I was clearly off the clock, meaning I didn't need to help her if I didn't want to, was priceless. After she left, I asked him if she has been an issue since I had left, and he said she has been doing this every week for the past 2 months, and the next time he will have her trespassed because he is getting tired of dealing with her BS. My friends and I had a good laugh once we got in the one of their trucks OTW to the house.